Hi, I'm going to show you how Automon can monitor your application at runtime and determine what classes to monitor at runtime with AspectJ's load time weaving. Okay, let me run the program. This is just a simple hello world program that prints my name. You can see down here. It's a batch file. In fact, all the Automon example programs are in this examples directory. You see there's a bunch of bash shell scripts. What the bash script does is it takes this class called hello world from this jar and runs it and simply prints my name. So let's look at the source code. Simply it instantiates hello world and does a loop based on your command line arguments. By default you can see it just prints the name one time. Calls get first name, get last name, and then this third method it calls is I messed up, which just throws an exception. And notice I catch the exception and don't do anything with it. Okay, now let's run the program with load time weaving. And to do that, there's another shell script called hello world unwoven. LTW stands for load time weaving. Let's run it. And now, instead of just printing out the loop and my name, it intercepts the beginning of each method call. And you can see it's just going to do a sysout print line, but it will print the method name. In fact, here you can see it's calling main, the main method, then get first name. And then when a method's done, it will call stop. So here you can see that stop is called afterwards. Normally what you would do it with Automon is have Jawmon or Yammer Metrics or Simon or something and time the method calls and not just print them out. So, and then you can see here it's calling I messed up also. It detects that an exception was thrown. Okay, let's look at the differences between calling the program with load time weaving and without. So let's go back to this script and you can see it was simple before. You just passed in the jar and the class name. Now it's some minor differences. Here you specify, this is an Automon parameter that you specify to use sysout to print the method names to the screen. You could pass other things like Jawmon or have Automon automatically detect what to do for that parameter. This is an AspectJ parameter that specifies the AspectJ config file, which says what parts of your code do you want to monitor. We'll look at that in a second. You specify the AspectJ Weaver jar file as the Java agent, and the only other difference is you have to specify Automon jar. Okay, now I'm going to show you the AspectJ config file, which you inherit from one of the Automon aspects. You can see here AspectJ base or Spring base, and then you name it whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. The main part here is you've got 2 point cuts, which are points in your code you want to monitor. The user monitor, which is methods usually to time. So you could put a class name there or a package name, etc. And this one usually it will be the same, but it's where you want to track any exceptions that are called, count them. In this case, I create a reusable point cut and defined it in this file called profile. And it's saying anything within my hello world package I would like to monitor. And then you also have some debug options down here that are disabled for now. But that's it. You really just have to define these two, but you can make it more complex. I've got another sample. Oh, by the way, I should add these are in the config directory in examples, these 2 files. So I've got this other bigger file, a better example probably AJC AOP XML. You see the first part starts the same, but then I've also got a lot of point cuts defined that are reusable that you can specify in your logic up here. So for example, if you've got Jawmon annotations to monitor your methods, it will detect them, or Simon or perf for J, all these are annotation related. Here are some JDK point cuts. In other words, I'd like to monitor JDBC or I/O or network traffic, network classes. Method names, like it's a public method. So you can combine these in any way you would want. I'm not going to cover them all, but you should definitely look at them as they might simplify your work a bit. Okay, and also look at, there's two README files that kind of show how to run these programs. One's in the config directory, talks about the XML config files. Actually, if you go to the website, you can look at that too in GitHub. And also the one in the examples root directory talks how to run programs in general with build time weaving and load time weaving. And you also have the projects, the Maven projects that worth looking at for spraying and how to weave your existing code in a Maven project. Okay, well, thanks for your time and happy monitoring.